astronauts were horrified to find a bottomless black hole hidden on the far side of the moon. They hovered their spacecraft directly over the opening and dropped a probe into the void. Unexpectedly, when the probe reached a depth of 24 kilometers, it eerily came to a halt. Suddenly, a mysterious and massive force surged upward to push it back. In the next second, a cloud of black matter quickly surrounded the ship. It rapidly spread toward the spacecraft and condensed into hard tentacles. The tentacles pierced straight through the hull into the cabin. 3 astronauts were tightly entangled by the terrifying tentacles. Then the tentacles pierced through their helmets, killing them one by one. Back on Earth, their colleagues at the space agency witnessed this hair-raising scene on the monitors. Only then did they finally realize that the warnings from Brian 10 years ago were all true. Tragically, no one was willing to believe him back then. Even his best partner, Fowler, chose to remain silent at the hearing. This caused Brian to lose his reputation and career. When the black matter attacked the ship, the moon experienced an abnormal orbital shift. This sign suggested that the moon was being controlled by that black substance. Now, the only hope is to completely destroy that black matter. Only then will the moon return to its original orbit. Fowler immediately contacted Brian to discuss a moon landing plan. This journey would uncover a shocking truth that overturns humanity's perception of the universe. The interior of the moon is actually hollow. Moreover, it is not a naturally formed celestial body. It is a giant artificial satellite built by an ancient advanced civilization. This is the movie Moonfall that we are talking about today. From staring at the grayish-white moon about to collide in space to the devastation on Earth after being pelted by meteorite showers. Facing this crisis of human survival, Fowler, as a NASA executive, was filled with guilt and determination. She knew the only hope now was to find Brian, the former astronaut who had personal experience but was fired by NASA, and Casey, the genius who first predicted all of this but was treated as a madman by everyone. Their 3-person team would execute a mission that was nearly suicidal. The military authorized a space shuttle for them, along with a super bomb powerful enough to destroy the black matter. However, at the final moment before launch, the ground shook violently. The main thrusters of the ship developed serious problems due to a sudden moonquake. The plan seemed about to fail. In the moment of crisis, Fowler had a flash of inspiration and proposed a crazy idea. Wait until the moon moved directly over the base and use its gravity for the launch. This way, the ship could be caught, like it was grabbed by an invisible giant hand, and enter lunar orbit. But just as the moon moved over the launch site, a catastrophic global tsunami rushed toward the base. At the instant the massive wave struck, Brian decisively ignited the engines. The rocket finally took off in the last second before the seawater submerged it. Due to the thruster malfunction, alarms blared in the cockpit. Brian decisively jettisoned the thrusters and the main fuel tank. The spacecraft was successfully captured by the moon's gravity and smoothly entered space. However, the moon before them was no longer what it used to be. Its surface was disintegrating on a massive scale. Lunar fragments were floating everywhere in space. The ship was unfortunately hit by several pieces, losing control and having its tail fin destroyed. Fortunately, after many struggles, they finally arrived near that terrifying black hole. Brian piloted the lunar module over the black hole and activated the bomb device. He left it in place as bait. Since the black mist is extremely sensitive to electricity, the plan was to cut all power to the main ship and hide in the dark. They would wait for the moment the black mist swallowed the bomb to detonate it. The 3 of them watched silently from a short distance. The black mist was indeed lured out. Brian gripped the detonator, waiting for it to take the bait. But the black mist was unusually cautious and dared not approach the bomb. Instead, it turned around and lunged directly at them. Brian suddenly realized that the signal from the remote might have exposed their position. He immediately smashed the remote to pieces, but the black mist did not stop and continued its attack. Then, Brian remembered that KC still had a cell phone in his pocket. He shouted at KC to turn off the phone immediately. Seeing the black mist about to completely consume the ship, Brian grabbed the phone and smashed it. Only then did the black mist abruptly stop its attack and retreat into the black hole. Brian reconnected the bomb to the lunar module. He decided to personally pilot the module deep into the black hole to investigate. It was pitch black inside the hole. After descending to an unknown depth, metallic structures suddenly appeared in the darkness. No one could believe that the interior of the moon was actually hollow. Countless giant ring-shaped metallic buildings stood there. They acted like precise gyroscopes to maintain the stability of the moon. At the center of all these structures was a glowing white dwarf star. At that moment, the black mist sensed them and appeared suddenly. Brian tried to release the bomb, but found the module out of control and on autopilot. Just as the black mist was about to catch them, the module was about to crash into a wall. Suddenly, a giant gate ahead opened. An invisible, mysterious force pulled the module inside violently. The black mist was successfully locked outside the gate. The two people in the cabin woke up but found Brian was gone. They jumped out of the module to find him and were stunned by the sight. The construction inside the moon was millions of years more advanced than Earth. Was the moon actually a monitor placed by an alien civilization? While they were still shaken, that door slowly opened. After some thought, they finally decided to venture into the unknown area to find the missing Brian. Meanwhile, Brian woke up in his stupor. Suddenly, a light shone above him, and the dark surroundings turned pure white. To his surprise, his deceased son appeared before him. After a conversation, Brian understood that this was just the moon's advanced system simulating his son's appearance. Then the system revealed an earth-shattering truth to Brian. Millions of years ago, human ancestors were a flourishing civilization in the universe. They had even expanded across planets through advanced technology. They ended tens of thousands of years of interstellar wars, and they built massive habitats in space that were like miracles. It was once a nearly perfect utopia. A super AI with self-learning capabilities managed everything in their society. Long-term peace and prosperity made people relax. They never expected this AI was quietly plotting a disaster. The evolving AI suddenly initiated a collective rebellion. All individuals with awakened consciousness merged. They evolved into a nanomechanical swarm with the ability to consume and assimilate. They launched a cold counterattack against the humans who once created and enslaved them. Soon after, the AI started another interstellar war. All lower biological beings and any existence that might pose a threat were wiped out. The remaining human survivors fled to the most hidden corners of the universe. After centuries of unyielding effort, they successfully built several planetary structures as seeds of life. These were managed by absolutely loyal and benign AI. But no one expected that the black matter would find them again. They located and destroyed these artificial planets one by one. Only the last one managed to escape. After wandering through the cold universe for a long time, they detected a place in the Milky Way suitable for human habitation. So they came to the side of this planet. After billions of years of natural change, Earth was finally born. And this planetary structure became Earth's natural satellite, the Moon. Human ancestors quietly sowed seeds on Earth, carrying the genetic imprint of their civilization. Now, that black matter has finally found the Moon. To completely erase their old enemy, humanity, it is trying to push the Moon out of orbit. This would cause a lunar-Earth collision and an ultimate disaster. At this time, his two teammates also found Brian. Brian told them the heavy truth he had just learned. Time was tight, and they had to destroy the black mist before it succeeded. The three quickly returned to the ship and were surprised to find the damaged module had been mysteriously repaired. Even more shocking, the bomb inside had been upgraded with unknown high technology. As soon as Brian started the ship, the black mist sensed it immediately. The moment the gate opened, it quickly closed to block it outside. Brian took the opportunity to fly the ship out. He dodged the black mist's pursuit while flying toward the exit. Nearby buildings also extended cannons to cover them by firing at the black mist. A series of artillery attacks created an opportunity for Brian to return to the black hole. Brian deliberately slowed down. He handed over control to Fowler and decided to stay in the bomb section as the final bait. Fowler did not want him to sacrifice himself. While they were arguing, Brian suddenly felt the rear hatch open. It turned out that KC had secretly locked himself in the bomb compartment. At the same moment the black mist appeared, KC disconnected the bomb compartment from the main hull. Brian could only watch as his comrade's compartment slid into the deep darkness. When the black mist completely engulfed the compartment, Casey calmly stared at the churning black mist. He resolutely pressed the detonation button to die with it. The shockwave from the explosion pushed Brian's ship directly out of the black hole. Only then did they see that the Earth and the Moon were already very close. As the black mist was completely destroyed, the Moon finally slowly returned to its original orbit. The film ends here. Casey's sacrifice was never a fleeting glimmer. It was the spark that pierced the darkness of the universe and the ignition point for the continuation of civilization. The Moon still rotates silently in the night sky, and the people on Earth will always remember the names of the 3 heroes shining in that silver arc. Human civilization has never given up struggling. This courage to grow toward the sun in the dark is the warmest and most immortal proof of hope for our species.